Hello, welcome to Asenso Tayo Leaders, the podcast for anyone who's leading people and still figuring it out. I'm Maria Asauro, the head of people and culture at 5L, and Michael, this isn't just an idea anymore. Oh my gosh,
Oh,
it's actually happening.
it's so exciting. Hey. So, yeah, I started working with the wonderful team of 5Elk in January as a leadership and development specialist. And one of the first things we started talking about was what do our leaders need and how can we help them become better leaders as quickly as possible? And this podcast was one of the ideas that came to the forefront of our thinking. And it's something personally I've been so interested in and passionate about. But honestly, doing it with you, creating a podcast like this that firstly will help our leaders, but also help people out in the world. It is such a cool thing. So I'm so pumped that we have officially hit record. This is our teaser episode
Y-
and the podcast is
yeah.
officially launched and out in the world. It is a very, very cool feeling, Maria.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been throwing things around, but this is it. I'm so excited. I think I'm wearing my luckiest shoes today.
Oh, nice.
So I'm really looking forward to this, Becky.
What are your lucky shoes? What color are they?
It's black. It's just very formal, but I like it because it's just so comfy. So I feel more confident. And I wore this today. I was thinking, oh my God, this is it. This is the launching of the podcast, and I'm going to nail it. Come on.
Well, I'm honored that the podcast is important enough to you that you've chosen to wear the shoes. So thank you. That means a lot.
Yeah.
So the point of this episode isn't to get started on the leadership stuff and get our hands dirty and rip into the world of how leaders can do their job better. The point of this one is really to just introduce the podcast to our listeners. I'm assuming there'll be more than one listener. Might just be a listener, which would be my mum, but hopefully there's more people listening. And really, the whole point of this is let's have a chat about why we started it and what it's all about
Yeah.
and who it's for and how people can
Mhm.
listen to more of it as we release each episode. So I reckon, in the words of Simon Sinek, let's start with why. Maria, why don't you tell everyone why we have launched Asenso Tayo Leaders?
Oh, yeah, I'd love to. So, we wanted to create something for our leaders at 5Elk, right? So, something that would help, get clearer direction in certain situations they're in, and give them that confidence to take the step in a better direction, wherever or whatever situation they are right now. But then we thought, well, why are we just reserving this stuff for 5Elk tribe, right? Why not? We share it with the world. Oh my gosh, we're saying the big word world. So instead of becoming an internal resource for 5L's leaders, okay, so we have decided to make it an actual capital PODCAST podcast. Becky?
That's it. It's, yeah, so many of the roles at 5Elk, there's great training and there's step-by-step process and people can learn the process and follow it and away they go. But leadership isn't quite like that. There's so much that can change this. Everything's slightly different day in, day out, hour in, hour out.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to create that level of clarity of here's exactly what you need to do. So in some other way, you just need to build people's muscles. So when they're in a situation they haven't been in before, they know roughly what the right principles are that they can apply. And that's
Right.
what we want to create is a podcast where people can,
Yeah.
I suppose, not learn the process, but learn the principles, learn what works, learn what doesn't work, not from a place of theory, but from a place of practice and what's actually happening, working, not working out in the world. And my hope is for the podcast is that for our leaders, but also anyone else out there who's listening, we can take the discomfort and the uncertainty that often happens in leadership, create a bit more structure, a bit more order, and just give people that confidence to take the next step, whether they're in a challenging situation now or the next time a challenging situation pops up, just to give them that confidence to go, actually, I'm pretty sure I know what to do next. And now I'm confident enough that I'm going to try it.
Yeah, absolutely, Becky. That's what we want.
So that's the why. But why don't we talk about the what? What is
Mhm.
this podcast going to be?
Well, first up, it's not training, okay? It's not a lecture. It's a space to just pause, hear some stories from other leaders, right? Learn from what they're doing and try something new. And what we want to do is we're bringing together voices from all kinds of leaders, whether they're leading a team in the Philippines or probably managing Filipino talent from overseas. And we want to talk about what it actually feels like to lead people, especially when things are messy, uncertain, or new.
That's it. We want to speak to really great leaders at Five Elk. We also want to speak to really great leaders outside of Five Elk, but we don't want the polish. We don't want the PR spin. We don't want the everything's perfect and I've got this all figured out. We want the rough and raw version of what their life is like and what has made them nervous in the past, what they've struggled with. We want the warts and all story from the front line of leadership. And as any leader out there now knows, leadership is not this smooth process. It's a roller coaster of confusion and
Yeah.
clarity and trial and error and small wins and big wins,
Mm-hmm.
small setbacks, big setbacks, small breakthroughs, big breakthroughs. There's so many different ranges of emotions that fall into it. And
Yeah.
all of it is so normal and all of it is so much part of the process. But through working very closely with many leaders over the years and mentoring many as well, one thing I can tell you is every leader assumes they are struggling and everyone else has it all figured out. And in fact, the struggles are so much more
Mhm.
common than most leaders realize. But I believe there are few to people in the world who are actually talking about those challenges and giving a real insight into what their day-to-day leadership challenges and successes and all of that look like. So that's what we've created here, right? Is a space where
Yeah.
we can bring leaders who we
Yeah.
respect for one reason or another, where we can bring those people together and we can have a really great, honest conversation with them about what has and hasn't worked. So we can start extracting some of those principles and lessons
Yeah.
and steps that any of the listeners can take in certain situations.
Yeah.
But really, it's a place for open and honest conversations about leadership that are going to empower people to not just think they know what to do, but to actually back themselves to take the next right step for them in whatever situation they're in.
Yeah, absolutely. We hope to become that avenue for that light bulb moment for our listeners, right?
100%. And not necessarily tell people what the light bulb is,
Yeah.
but for them to take whatever they need at that time out of
Yeah.
whatever we're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Maria, let's break it down for the high detail people out there, the people who want to know the nuts and bolts. So, yeah, these are the conversations we're going to be having, but we're going to have different segments. We're going to have different structures of episodes. So, what are some of the ideas that we've settled on as to how we're going to approach the podcast?
So we're going to play with a few different formats here to approach, different angles in leadership, right? So one of which will definitely have real conversations with experienced leaders. Aside from that, we're going to give you quick tools that you can try instantly. And we'll also enter the leadership lab and test something out and share the results of what actually happened. And this is my favorite. In our Fail Forward series, we're going to lift the lid on times that people got it wrong and what we learned from it. And lastly, we're going to encourage our listeners to send in their leadership questions so that we can unpack them and help out.
Yeah, I love the idea of listeners sending us questions. And if you're out there now and you've got a question or there's some area of leadership that you're really struggling with, get onto our socials and start sending those questions through because we want to make sure this is the most relevant resource imaginable for the leaders that we work with and anyone out there listening. And the best way to make sure it's relevant is to literally address the challenges and questions that you have now. So if you've got them, please send them through. But I am with you, Maria. The Fail Forward series is the one I'm most excited about.
Yeah.
Firstly, because I just think we all learn way more from our mistakes than we do from our successes. But also, this is the bit where I really think people are going to listen and go, oh, I'm not alone. Wow. If I respect this person, if they make a mistake like that, it makes me feel so much more normal that I've made that mistake too. So I think this is the
Yeah.
bit where people are going to realize that leaders have a lot more in common and that a lot of people out there who feel like they're frauds or imposters or don't deserve their place to be a leader are going to realize, wow, maybe we're not all that different, which is a really, really empowering feeling. So yeah, I can't wait to lift the lid on some of those people who out in the world look like they've got it all figured out and have never made a mistake and are, perfect. And for them to, through a really open conversation, show the world that it's not all sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows when you're a leader.
Yeah. That's exciting.
Alrighty. So I think we've ticked most of the boxes for this teaser episode, Maria. I reckon we now get to the plug. If someone out there who's listening, hello to my mum, but if anyone else is listening too, and they want to follow along and make sure that they're the first to know whenever we release a new episode, what is the best way for them to stay connected with us?
So, guys, the best thing to do is to subscribe to us on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or whatever podcast platform you're on. And for our 5L team, we'll be sharing these in our internal Yammer. Okay, so keep an eye out on that.
Absolutely. And if you want to get in touch, if you want to send through some questions you have or an area you'd like us to cover in an episode, or if you're a leader that thinks they've got a great story to tell and you would love us to consider having you on an episode, connect with us on LinkedIn. We will make sure our LinkedIn profiles are in the show notes, but we would love to connect with you and we would love to stay in touch with you via that platform as well. So I think that's us done, Maria. We have got to the end of the episode. Very cool. We are officially podcasters.
Yeah.
Even cooler. I'm pumped. I just can't wait to get stuck in with you.
Yes. Oh my God. Just jumping up and down. I'm just so excited for this. I'm excited for the team. I'm excited for all of our listeners out there. And I'm just extremely grateful for this opportunity. And I'm just really passionate about this. I don't know where this will take us, Becky, but what the hell? Let's just go on with it. And yeah, let's get it on.
Absolutely. I haven't told you this, but I had the idea to launch a podcast like this during a meditation in Mexico
Oh.
at the end of 2022. And it has taken not quite 3 years, but almost 3 years for me to do it. But it's also taken this opportunity to be part of the 5L team and to do it alongside you is just so exciting and just feels 100% perfect. So, mate, I am so pumped to be getting into this with you. Our job now is to start lining up some awesome guests, record some interviews, and get them out in the world. And for our listeners, your job is to just subscribe, sit tight, and get ready for our first official episode.
Yeah. And yes, we'll catch you in our first proper episode. Asenso Tayo, leaders.
We'll catch you soon.